Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Streetside. That's right, Streetside Brewery, the best daggone brewery in the city. Look, if I'm going to get through this episode, we're going to have to get into some right now, okay? Streetside, located in the eastern end, let's call it Columbia Tusculum area of Cincinnati. Fantastic stuff going on over at Streetside. You've got Yacht Rock Rewind happening on Friday, May 29th. June 4th, they've got a blood drive with Hawksworth Blood Center, where every donor is going to receive a USA World Cup jersey and a $5 Streetside gift card. How can you not participate? So huge thank you to Streetside for sponsoring this episode. And thank you, listener, for checking them out. And on today's episode, oh my goodness, 6-2, a hell of a going away present from FC Cincinnati to the fan base at large. Oh, vibes could not be higher. We break it down with a very fun special guest today. It's a really, really fun episode. Really, we could have dragged this thing out for 5, 6, 7 hours, just talking about every moment, every goal, every player. It is so much fun. I had a blast recording this, had a blast going on. And then in part two, it's a look ahead to a little bit about what we're going to do this off-season, preseason, postseason, mid-season, off-season thing that's going on. And we talk a little Miles Robinson. But man, just overall, this episode is a blast. I think you're going to have fun. Enjoy this one. Enjoy the holiday. And yeah, enjoy the postcast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I am joined by two gentlemen, but not the two you think. Joined by the Chief, of course. Chief, we are joined by a special guest tonight. We are joined by the post-Cincy's Shawn Beamer. Shawn, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, fantastic. I'm happy to be making my podcasting debut.
There we go.
Yeah, I hit the age where I get into smoking meats and starting podcasts, apparently. Yeah. So I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
It's a wonderful time in every man's life when, like, it's kind of like, you know, choosing your first weapon in Kingdom Hearts or your first Pokemon or something like that, where it's like, what are you going to get into as a man approaching middle age? It's golf, it's podcasting, or it's grilling. And like, you get one of those three choices. Maybe like if you buy the DLC, it's perhaps whiskey. Or home brewing back in the day, but you got to pick one. So welcome to choosing podcasting as your career of choice as a man. We welcome you into this community of very deeply confused white guys.
Yeah, this is uncomfortable company. So congratulations.
Definitely
happy to be here. I'll fit right in.
So if folks don't know Shawn, one, shame on you. What the heck? Shawn has been around now for a little bit with us with the post. Shawn took over social media. How long has it been now?
That's a very good question. I think I lost count. Like September? September? Yeah. Maybe?
That feels
toward
right.
the end of the regular season, I think.
Yeah.
Time flies.
For a while now. Okay. So, one, I think you've done a very good job in general. Two, I think you did a very good job of sort of capturing the style that we had. You know, a real company would have like a style guide, maybe even some sort of North Star of like, hey, these are the 5 accounts we want to emulate or whatever. No, just good luck. Here's the account.
Not really our thing. Long-term planning, internal support at all. Not really our thing. paying people who do this sort of thing, also not really our thing as well.
Dicey.
Oh my God.
But also, Shawn, you have been contributing to the website, writing match previews this year, and twice now, match reviews, or gamers as they are known in the industry. How much fun was it putting together the gamer for last night?
I don't have words. I mean, last night was truly an incredible game. Because the last time I was at the game, or I guess up in the press box, was that 1-0 loss against Toronto. And if you guys know, right, and if you guys know, the press conference lasted maybe 90 seconds. And me being the newbie, I was kind of, tossed in the fire there a little bit, not knowing what the heck I'm doing. But, I figured it out. But I wasn't able to get a question in with Pat Noonan. This time I did. And it was a great experience. And putting together the gamer, reliving the match, because, I'm in work mode up in the press box. There might be some details here and there I may have missed during, the live game. But no, just putting the game together, looking at the journey and seeing how we demolished the Disney World loving club that is Orlando FC. It was great to just see all that come together and just see Evander break a record, Pat Noonan having success, matching Brian Schmetzer's, fastest 75 game record, putting it all together, seeing it all, just sharing that story, getting that out there to the good people was just rewarding. It was fun.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that, happy to have you here, Shawn. Exciting to make your podcasting debut. It's always fun, like I said, to be there when somebody experiences their first time, not to sound creepy or anything. But
I may need to delete that.
I do wish Grayson was here for this game recap for this reason. And that's that the only thing I could think about while watching this game yesterday, and as they stretched the lead to 4-2, then 5-2, and finally Tom Barlow contributing the 6th goal in stoppage time, was Grayson's comment that this team never blows anyone out or wins convincingly. And yeah, it's Orlando. Their defense is atrocious. But how long has it been since this team they play a bad team and you just annihilate and abuse a bad team? And as they kept pouring it on, I was like, yep, I understand why he's mad that we don't do this more often, because this is a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun right here. This is a blast. We should do this way more often.
I'm trying to think, when is the last time that we had a big
6-1 Miami, right? Last year?
That has to be it, right?
Or was that 2 years ago?
Oh, that might have been 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago we beat Miami 6-1? Time's flying, man. It doesn't happen often enough. Well, I mean, we had that laugher against that semi-pro team from that country I don't want to look up. The one that was they operated out of a strip mall, I think, or they were a for-profit,
a prestigious university from the Dominican Republic.
Right, a cash-only university in the Dominican Republic that was fielding a soccer team as well. Yeah, that 10-0 on that one, but that doesn't really count. Blowing the shit out of an MLS team, that hit different last night. And that, of all the ways that you could go into the mid-season off-season, if you will, go out on a high vibe, man. Just make me remember for the next 2 months. That was pretty badass last time we were at TQL Stadium. That ruled.
Even talking to all the players, that obviously was the goal for them to, end on a high note. And, and I saw this in the Discord. Someone said something along the lines of, for once, oh gosh, what was it? For once we have a lead, or wait, no. Oh my gosh, I'm getting this mixed up.
I think it was what you were looking for was that when I said when we go down a goal, because in this game, there's the PK early on Kyle Scott, where Orlando's awarded the penalty. I think like 15 minutes into this game, 19 minutes into this game.
Yeah.
And they go up 1-0. And for like the first time in, I think, forever, I'm in no way bothered. Like, oh yeah, no, we're scoring 2 or 3. The only question is whether or not our defense is going to let up 4. Like, that's the only drama here. There's no doubt in my mind we're able to come back from this deficit. Like, whereas, last year it was like, well, this game's over. We're playing for a tie right now. And that's, I really do want to, I don't want to undersell this point on this specific issue. And that is that I do think that when you look at, on balance, how this team has evolved from the start of the year to this sort of break point in the season, I think what you see a lot of evolution in the ideas for how this team moves and operates. And I think you have to credit not only Pat Noonan, but the entire coaching staff on they've been handed a very, very flawed roster that has a lot of talent, but the talent is not equally distributed among the position groups, as it turns out. And what they have done by making some very tough decisions is, I think that they are at this point getting the optimal amount of offensive production out of this team. And that's something that I think that if you would have told us that 12 months ago or 6 months ago, even, that, hey, guess what? Pat Noonan's going to have the offense on this team absolutely humming. We all would have been like, which Pat Noonan are you talking about? Because it's not the one that coaches FC Cincinnati. Like,
right.
Well, like Pat Noonan that works as like a steel worker in Poughkeepsie. Like, maybe, I don't know, but not this Pat Noonan. So I do think we need to give Pat Noonan his flowers a little bit for the managerial job he's done for this team. Look, you don't have to agree with every decision that he makes. You don't have to love every substitution. You don't have to love every individual 11 that they run out there, but they've taken chances this year. They've dared to experiment a little bit, and what they've ended up with is the results are trending in the right direction, especially if you look at this team's form over the last 7 games versus the 7 games prior. Looks a lot better. They still hiccup. They still look like dog shit when they played Miami. So they're not immune because the roster is still not where it needs to be, but they're really, really watchable. They play really good offense. And I think they have stumbled into some things through trial and error and some commitment from Noonan that I think that they can carry forward after the break ends with this team.
Yeah. Shawn, did you ask Noonan about that 75 win mark? Was that your question to Noonan in the press conference?
That was not my question.
Okay.
I believe that was Carter's there toward the end. Carter asked him about that. Asked him about that 75 win.
It's a great answer he had for it too.
I want trophies.
Yeah, it's like, that's great, but he tied Brian Schmetzer from Seattle. And it's like, it's cool to tie him. I want his trophy cabinet though. And it's like, that's a self-aware Pat Noonan moment where if you ask the fan base and you poll the fans writ large about Pat Noonan, I think what they would say is, the trophy case is a little bare, which is champagne problems to a certain extent. I mean, I watched earlier today, I watched the end of that Atlanta Columbus game. And it can go wrong so badly, even for teams that spend a lot of money and that are ambitious. And look, you make some bad coaching hires and you make a few bad decisions, you're Atlanta United really quickly in this league. And that's with a really high priced roster that's getting walked off the park by a bad Columbus team. And I think it's to Pat Noonan's credit and to like our sort of being spoiled that we look at a manager who is winning consistently, winning with different lineups, making the most out of some questionable roster decisions. And we're still like, we wish we had more. It's like, that's great, but like, I wish we had a little bit more.
I mean, I'll also add another thing that I think we have to give him his flowers for is this season could have gone so many different ways. It could have been a lot worse, but the players are still bought in. The culture is still great. And I think we got to give him credit for his man management, even over the years too, but I think especially so this year, the offense is clicking. And yeah, like I said, everyone's bought in, motivated to, keep pushing. And we hadn't really seen much of that previously. So, no, I completely agree, Chief.
I think where you see that the most too over the course of this, it's another big like through line from this first part of the season. Is the team doesn't quit when they're down. Yeah. They have stolen points late in a lot of these games where, bad run of form, a couple of blowout losses, locker rooms can spiral really quickly on things like that. But this, to the best of my, outside looking in perspective, this seems like a team that plays for one another, plays hard, plays for the manager, and they seem to play through the final whistle, which as a fan, isn't that all you want? Like, isn't at the end of the day, isn't what you want is that even if your team isn't doing what you think they should be, or they're not living up to whatever the standard that you've set for how things should be, at least you want them playing hard. You don't want to like look at the team and think to themselves, oh, they're dogging it out there, or, they're not giving it their all and laying it all on the line for the badge and the city and the club and all that happy nonsense that we all believe in. This team does that. And again, I think there were a lot of junctures in this first part of this season where that could have gone the other way with a lesser manager or someone that didn't have the backing of the dressing room. And I think that's to Noonan's credit that we should, again, give him flowers for.
Look, like, people can criticize, as you said, the individual moments and stuff, but Shawn, I think that it's such a good point of like, ultimately, at the end of the day, what you want the coach to be doing, and what I think in soccer is maybe the most important aspect of a manager, is like keeping the cohesive unit together, bought in. People aren't going at each other's throats. They're continuing to fight. They believe in the project. They believe in the mission, whatever the case may be, however you want to phrase it. Well, they are doing that. And this isn't a situation where you look at other teams around the league, like Portland comes to mind as a team that doesn't feel bought in, doesn't feel like they believe in the manager. And when they go down early, there's no fight left in them. And I hate to say it, that's kind of what this team was last year. Grayson was always quick to point out that we had like the worst points, accumulated from losing position in the league, and it wasn't particularly close. I haven't done the research. We've got all summer for research. I suspect we're near the top of the table, at least on like salvaged points or points from losing positions at this point. At the very least, vibes, I feel much better about it. And that is, again, like a testament to, sure, some tactical changes, some personnel changes, but also that this team is genuinely bought in to Noonan. And whatever changes you might want to make in this team over the summer, you're going to have to do for a new manager anyway. So why wouldn't you not give Noonan that opportunity to have that? So I think the criticisms of Noonan at this point have largely have to, go by the wayside. Like I said, you can nitpick a moment here, a moment there, but I think the overarching criticisms basically can't be there. And I'll say, for me, as a fan of teams that have been the sort of, good, not great, or always in the playoffs, but never winning the big one, let me tell you, it is way more fun to be the 2007 to 2015 Bengals than the 1991 to 2003 Bengals. Okay. It is way more fun to be the Mick Cronin Bearcats than it is to be whatever the hell it has been the last 5 years Bearcats. Okay. Like, I'd rather be closer to getting over the edge than not. And like, unless you've got a surefire guarantee to change it, I am very happy with what is happening. And we are seeing growth. We are seeing evolution. Like, at the same time, people need to recognize, and I need to recognize, that this is Pat Noonan's first head coaching job. Yes, he's been there for a couple of years now, but like, he has the opportunity to learn lessons and apply those lessons. He's a very good professional player. I don't see there's any reason why you can't extend a similar courtesy to the coach that, oh, by the way, is the most successful manager in the fastest amount of time, or tied, that this league has ever seen. I don't know. That feels like the kind of guy you give a lot of rope to, a long leash to. So
yeah, the other thing I don't want to lose sight of too is that I think that, you know, Noonan is due his flowers, but I think that even Noonan would say that part of what has helped this team get to this point where they have not played great soccer consistently through the year, but that they are still in a position now where the season is far from lost. They have everything to play for in the second half. They've come on stronger down the stretch than they started out with. And I think a lot of the credit has to do to some individual efforts from some of the players as well. And I think that Noonan helps that a little bit. And I think one of the underrated ways that he helps that is by something like giving Evander the captain's armband. Because part of what has driven this team forward, I think, is that you have seen Evander start to make this team his own a little bit. And I wonder, and I don't know that anyone would ever admit this, but I don't wonder if last year with Evander, who had a great year last year, no doubt about that. He was a MVP finalist, but how much of last year was Evander trying to be Lucho Acosta and replace Lucho Acosta? You give him the captain's armband this year. What you're tacitly telling him is we want you. You are the leader of this team, and you don't need to be Lucho. You need to produce like he did, but you need to do it in your own way, and you need to do it how it works for you. And we've seen, I think, over the course of this year, slow start, a little bit of an injury, but slowly but surely he is rounded into a form where he is influencing the match in different ways than Lucho did, but is putting his fingerprints all over what this offense has become. Ends up with 5 goal contributions in this match last night, FC Cincinnati record, which is insane. Until you remember that even when this team was good, it was like 2 goals and defend to win matches. There weren't a lot of instances where you were getting 5 goals, let alone 5 goal contributions from anyone. So I think about that. The other player, and I'd be curious to hear, Shawn, you spoke to this player last night, but another player who I think about in this sort of ascension and like sort of holding the team in the season together is Pavel Buka, who I think has been a revelation with his wingback play. I think it's been unbelievable to watch him transition to that. And I don't think it's pointed out often enough how unselfish of a decision, how unselfish Buka has been during this period right here, because he is a guy who was fighting for inclusion into his national team for the World Cup. And all of a sudden, in the midst of that, I have to look good, like thinking to himself, I have to look good for my national team. I have to have my form has to be good. I'm probably fighting for spot 25 to 29 when only 26 players are going to be called into the final squad or whatever the number is. But like, he's right there on the fringe. And all of a sudden his manager asks him, hey, you know, it'd be great if you don't play the position that they've been scouting and evaluating and rating you for the national team on for the 5 weeks or 6 weeks or however leading up to the World Cup. How does that sound? And if I'm Pavel, it's like, hey, fuck you, guy. I'm so close. I'm so close. Don't do this to me. But yet he has gone out and not just delivered, but delivered beyond like anyone's wildest expectations in terms of the play he's offered this team, both offensive and defensive, on that right wing back role. Shawn, you got a chance to talk to him last night after the match. What were the vibes like from Pavel after the performance?
Let me just start by saying he puts himself at such a high standard. He recorded an assist or 2 last night, had a great performance, I thought, and he kind of downplayed all of that. Interesting enough, if you check out the post Twitter, I shared a clip of, I believe Laurel asked him, what do you think about your performance tonight, essentially? And he basically just downplayed it. He said he wasn't impressed with his performance. He was complimenting the team around him, but it was very much just, kind of down on himself. And then Meanwhile, Pat in the press conference previously was just praising Buka for being such a team player, being a winner, just, doing the job. And yeah, so I do wonder, like, okay, is he kind of, I guess, pissed off that he's not playing in the midfield? But at the same time, like, it's just another tool in the bag for Czechia to use. It's versatility, I guess, is the other, I guess, the flip side of the coin. You could view that. But yeah, no, Buka was very much not impressed with his play, despite, the result last night. And, with my eyes, I thought he was great. He's been probably my favorite player of the season so far, aside from, Evander here as of late. But,
what's funny is that maybe he was mad at himself because the Apple TV replay still hasn't been working for this match. Because I feel like if he would have gone back and watched himself prior to giving that clip, the assist he has to Evander for that goal is unreal. Just a incredible cross-field pass after he starts the play himself with a great step up into the on defense, just picks the pocket of the Orlando City player and now is running full speed ahead on the break, sees Evander, picks a cross-field pass that also, give credit, Kevin Denke opens the passing lane with a run straight in up Route 1, then holds his defender off from being able to make a play on the ball. Ball slides through to Evander. Evander slots it through. One of the goals of the season for me, just because of how clean the operation was from everybody involved in the defensive aspect that sets the play up, the immediate look for a cross-field switch of play, and Denke actually opening space for a teammate for Evander to make that shot. I just thought everything about that was awesome. And this is how I differ from a professional athlete, is that if I did that in a game, I could have fallen over, blown out my shoe like that ref in the Miami game. I could have, my pants could have fallen down. I could have given up 4 goals. I could have pulled both my hamstrings. I'd still did you see that sick pass I had though? It was pretty badass, right? It's how do you think you played tonight? Did you see that sick pass I had?
That's pretty good.
Look me up.
28th minute, he has a one-touch cross into the middle of the box. Denke's rushing onto it. The defender does a good job of sort of stuffing Denke's shot, and Denke still sort of fights to get a sort of half chance out of it. But I think 9 times out of 10, Denke one touches that into the back of the net, and that would have been a hell of an assist. That would have been, a highlight reel worthy assist. Hell, it's a highlight reel worthy moment, even without the goal. But he has another one of these moments where it's incredible. Just to talk about the World Cup point, I don't know exactly when Czech Republic will have the official list, but my understanding is they released a 29-man roster now, and they will cut that down to 26. Now, last go round, he was called up for the playoffs, which was, as far as I can tell, the most important part of the qualifying campaign, and he was brought up. Now, he never even made the bench, so I don't know where exactly he stands on the pecking order. It feels like a 50-50 chance. Either he will or he won't make this team.
By definition.
But it feels very, very iffy as to whether or not he'll get there. Certainly rooting for it, and he'll be facing half of the Mamelodi Sundowns in Atlanta in July, or in June, if all of it goes according to plan.
A house divided. If he makes I've already decided. Number one, I need someone in FC Cincinnati land or at the team to get his jersey number for the national team, because I want to rush order a Pavel Buka Czechia jersey before these games happen, and I'm running out of time. So I need to know what number he's wearing for them, and I haven't been able to find an official source for that. So if anyone out there knows someone who knows, hit me in the DMs, because I want to get that jersey ordered ASAP, and the customization is going to take a minute on that. So I want to, because I am planning, if he makes that team, I'm going to go down to that Atlanta game. It's a noon kickoff. But I'm going to be there for that to support my man Pavel. And, just to cheer on the Sundowns. I'm just going to be happy for whoever. Just want to see a good game for everyone else. Sundowns African Champions League champions today.
Congratulations earlier today.
Yeah, not to brag or anything like that. Who Pavel is reminding me of a little bit, and this is going to be a little sacrilegious. He's got a little Barreal to him in his wingback play. There's a little bit there of that. There's a quick passing look with him. The ball rarely gets stuck with him. The motion with the ball and the quick looks to try and get the big pieces involved. Evander, Denke. That was Barreal's genius. It was facilitating with Lucho or facilitating with Brandon. Now we haven't seen and you know what else too? I mean, he's got that ability to do something crazy with a shot outside the box as well. We've seen that happen a couple of times too.
That is true.
So we haven't seen the Puskas level of shot, but would it surprise you if someone said, hey, Pavel's going to have a worldie tonight from like 30 yards out?
It feels right.
Yeah.
Feels right.
Like if you had to pick a guy on the team right now who's like, hey, this guy's good from half court, who are you picking on that? I think Pavel is no worse than third on whatever list you're making in your head.
I think Brian Ramirez. I think Ramirez is top of my list because Ramirez is good for exactly one outside of the box shot every single game. That's it. No more, no less. He's got one wild outside the box shot. It is close. It's always close.
Right. But who's making the shot, though? Like, I think Brian takes it more often than Pavel. I think Pavel makes it more often than Brian.
I like that. You know who I want to make it more than anybody? Elvis Powell.
That's just Elvis Powell energy is all that is.
Oh my God.
Elvis Powell needs to shoot exclusively from the midfield dot. Even if the keeper's not off his line, just give it a shot and see what happens, man.
I'd give him the green light in his own half every game.
Yeah. Parking lot range. Seriously, anytime, any place.
If that were to happen and I'm in the press box, I'm going to scream and I'm going to get thrown out.
Worth it. 100 times out of 100.
Absolutely.
There are no rules
it's
when that
worth
happens.
Losing my credentials. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're like, there's no cheering in the press box except if Elvis Powell's involved. In that case, cheering is mandatory.
That should be a rule. You should be allowed.
It should actually be in every MLS press box, just in case.
Elvis Powell has the green light to shoot from whenever. Also, I would vote him the most likely to refer to himself in the third person in the interview after that happens and you get him in the post to answer sound.
I like that.
Him and Tom Barlow. Tom Barlow needs to start referring to himself in the third person as well. By the way, the Tom Barlow's dozen, it's looking better by the week, baby. Like, I think this is going to happen. Like, unironically think this is going to happen now.
3 goals in 2 games. How do you not get hyped for that? I love it because just when you think like, oh, Kenji Mboma Dem, like he's got it. Like this is his spot. Barlow's there to make you think, well, wouldn't hurt to see more Barlow.
Right. We should. This is like chaotic, but the game was chaotic and the vibes were high.
Yes, sorry, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's talk about KMD a little bit here. Kevin, are you ready to declare this is not just a flash, but this could be perhaps who our good friend with 2 last names actually is?
It looks more and more like it. It looks his play is looking a lot more Brenner-esque as the games go on. I'll also say, credit to the coaching staff. 2 years now, they've been sitting on this guy, taking up a full international spot. International spots are fake. I understand that. I get that. But
that's Kevin advocating for open borders right there, in case you were missing it.
True. Also, MLS roster rules are
They're fake.
Don't count either. Advocating for both things. But they clearly believed in him to be sitting there with him on the full roster, but loaning him back to FCC2, but taking up that international spot. I think they saw something in him. I think coming out of the last game, there's the question of, is he better as a wingback? Is he better as a forward? If he's deployed as a wingback, next year and the year after, I don't think you're disappointed. But man, it is so good right now. I don't know how you take him out of the lineup. Like, in addition to the production, like, he passed the eye test in all the previous matches that we've seen him starting up top before the production started rolling in. I don't know, Shawn, how do you see his play?
Gosh, he's just been very consistent. I think if I had to pick one word to just describe him, he's been very consistent. There's been, Pat Noonan even said this too. There's been no major drop off really ever since he started being more active in the lineup. He's been very consistent, very clinical when we need him. And I got a chance to speak with him a little, and he's, obviously you can imagine, he says he's a lot more comfortable playing up top, likes it there. But I mean, he's a great sport, and people forget he's 24. I know people think he's a little younger, but still, I mean, that's not the point here. But the point I'm making is he's just happy to be on the field and happy to be contributing. And I think he's a very mature, just great player to have. And for, how much we're paying him. He's great value. And I think he's been outstanding.
I think it's not to be overlooked a little bit with him. This idea that when you are a young player with his pedigree, and his pedigree being he was a second round MLS Super Draft pick, these are not guys that make a lot of rosters. And they're certainly not guys that tend to be locked into positions when they get them. I have to think that if it's just human nature, no matter how confident you are, and he seems like a very confident, fella, but the first couple of starts or the first couple of minutes that you get, the overwhelming thought has to be, don't screw this up. Don't give him a reason to send you down. Don't give, be careful. And that, with each passing start, and I think that this is sort of something you've seen with his play a little bit, or at least I have, is that the confidence level of, if I miss this run because it just doesn't seem like, or I do this, they're not going to send me back to FCC2 at this point. And so playing with that level of, if I make this move and it doesn't work, they're not going to sub me off immediately and say, all right, kid, back to Northern Kentucky. They're not going to do that. You're fine. You're going to get your minutes done. I feel like that confidence, you've seen that in the last couple of matches. You've seen it in this match where he has 2 goals, a dead scoring opportunity for a third one, where he puts it about as close to a perfect header position as you can while hitting the exact corner of the woodwork. That confidence you can see it in his play now, and you can see it a little bit in his movements, his off the ball movements, how he's positioning himself. And I think that there's sort of he is sort of a part of a larger thing that I think that's going on here. And that's that we've heard so much over the last 2 years about this concept of this team needs to gel. And you need to see the team gel, and it pisses me off. It's just, you're professional athletes. You don't need time for that. I think that what this team is, as we've sort of found it going into the break, at least on offense, is the parts on this team on offense for the first time in a really, really long time look like there is some understanding now of how they play together. And I think that that's very obvious with Evander, with Dado, with Dem, and with Buka. I think that they're still sorting out how to get Brian Ramirez more involved in that a little bit. But with those 4 guys in particular right now, there just seems to be some chemistry. I don't know that there's any other word that you can use for it. There's no stat that's going to reveal this. But when you watch them play, like the pass that Evander picks out to Dem for his Mboma Dem for his second goal, is perfect. It's Evander dribbling through three people in the box, and he puts the ball because it's almost a no look because he knows Kenji's making that run. He knows he's going to run through it. He knows the ball is going to be there, and Kenji passes it into the back of the net. And that level of chemistry is something that like they've struggled with a lot of players. Like Lucho and Bopenza struggled to have that kind of chemistry. Evander and Denke have struggled to have that kind of chemistry, but now in year 2 with their pairing, they seem to be a lot more comfortable with one another. And they're finding that with Buka, they're finding that with Dado, and they're finding that with Kenji. And I feel like that almost more than any tactical adjustment that Noonan has made has really been the difference. And it's interesting how that becomes a talent multiplier for someone like KMD, where is he the most talented second striker on the roster? I don't know about that. Maybe, but like, does he fit? And does he have like this understanding of how to play with these guys better than we've seen from Ayub or even from Tom Barlow? Yeah, I really do think that he has shown that he fits better with this group. I mean, Kai Kamara couldn't figure it out last year, and he's an MLS lifer, and it didn't work. And not to FIFA-fy all this, but it's the color of the lines going from the player cards to a certain extent. Like
they're getting a little brighter green there. Yeah,
they're getting a little more green, right? We're seeing some green lines here.
You see it in particular on that goal as well. Denke starts it, by the way, starts to play, passes it out to Evander. And Denke immediately stops running and stands near the top of the box. And what it ends up doing is it freezes the entire center of that defense. They have to respect him. And Kenji just sort of sneaks into the backside and Evander finds him streaking in and buries it in the back of the net. Absolutely love it. Now, Chief, we talked about this when he was originally signed, but I want to point this back out. You said his pedigree in referring to second round draft pick, which is absolutely fair, but people might not know his literal pedigree of his father being Patrick Mboma, who is the 4th all-time top goal scorer for the Cameroonian national team, who spent years playing for PSG and Parma and all over the world. He played in Libya. He played in Japan for a little bit there. Really cool that a player with sort of that father as they're in their lineage there is ultimately
really cool.
Contributing to FC Cincinnati. Also, fun fact, just because I was looking at this up, top of that list is Samuel Eto'o. That makes sense.
Chelsea legend.
7th on that list is Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. Did not see that
Iron legend.
Absolutely. And probably the best national team nickname of any of the national teams. And it's sad. This is the one national team that didn't make this World Cup this year. Cameroon's national team is nicknamed the Indomitable Lions, which is dope. That's a good nickname.
Ball knowers know Cameroon in NES World Cup back in the day, elite. Like it was cheat code playing as Cameroon back in the old 8-bit days right there. Stay more on that, Kevin. I think that what we're going to do for the World's Gam, I pitched this in the chat, but I like the idea of, for the World's Gam on World Cup, doing our World Cup preview show in the style of the Better Know a Leagues Cup team from Liga MX, where maybe you, Grayson, and we pick like 2 favorites and 2 underdogs, and we just learn a little bit about these national teams and give you some fun facts about country of origin, players. We can draw out of a hat or something like that. But
I like that.
I like that as an idea. Shawn, we can get Shawn involved too. Maybe we can like get the entire postcast crew in so we can have more people. If we all do research, that'd be 20 teams we could.
How many groups are there? Could we assign a group per person? Thinking thoughts here.
There's a lot of teams in the World Cup this year.
I know.
So. Yeah, there's like 1 million. I can't remember.
Like everyone made it's almost embarrassing if your team didn't make the World Cup this go around. We'll figure the numbers out, but we're going to do something like that. We'll make that happen.
Like
With
that
regard
plan.
to KMD's first goal, though, I do think this is worth pointing out as well. Just stats galore in this episode. So this was provided by, there's a new account, by the way, that you can follow on X, the Everything app. It's all happening on X. FC Cincinnati PR, which is kind of like the stats and info portion of the FC Cincinnati press and media relations team. So they've got the regular Twitter account that tweets the highlights and the nonsense for the normies. The FCC PR account, that's where you get like truly fun facts about this team. Yes. And this I thought was a very fun fact right here. All right. Per Sportex Solutions, Kenji Mboma Dem's headed goal off of Vander's corner kick marked FC Cincinnati's MLS leading 13th goal of the season off a set piece. FC Cincinnati entered match day 15 with 2 more set piece goals than any other MLS club. That was with second place is the Vancouver Whitecaps with 10. Kevin, if I hadn't just read that to you, would it surprise you to know that we are the most dangerous team on set pieces in the entirety of MLS right now?
I think that would sound like the plan. I don't know that I would have believed you that it was working, if that makes sense. I think I would have believed you last year for sure.
We were awful on set pieces last year, I thought. Like this is a revelation here this year, I think. The new set piece coach
of Evander taking things. But yeah, Shawn, that's a great call.
Pat Noonan absolutely was, for lack of better words, glazing the ability to convert set pieces like that. And it's just been crazy. So with the new set piece coach, specialist, whatever you want to call it, I imagine is making a difference. But Pat Noonan was very happy with just how we're looking on set pieces. And of course, it helps to have Evander delivering great balls. Because previously, my hot take, Lucho just playing the near post corner kick straight into a person, those weren't effective. But kind of annoying to watch happen repeatedly. But no, just this offense is just simply clicking almost on all facets of play, essentially.
Yeah. But like, it's a big difference this year that they actually are generating chances off these corners as well. Because last year, you did get a lot of great set piece goals that were free kicks from Evander. But I don't remember them last year. And I'll look at we'll have plenty of time to look at the numbers. But they look a lot more dangerous on these corner kick opportunities. They scored a goal off one last night. They could have easily had a second one with like KMD's header that hit the corner. And then Miazga had a tap in that just went right to off that corner that went right to the keeper. But they wasted during the Lucho Acosta years. Yeah, like his leg was not strong enough to do anything effective. Just a little short leg, man. Like we love him. It was great. But that little feller wasn't generating a lot of power with those kicks. And so you got Evander there with an absolute rocket. Every one of these balls he delivers in are dangerous as hell. He's liable to score one of them again this year. But, they've getting those opportunities and seeing that Kenji can be an aerial threat as well. That's kind of cool from a second striker, because strangely, Ayub, for being bigger than everybody else, can't seem to do that. So it's nice that one person in the strikers room is interested in elevating and using the old noodle.
It's on the flip side of Lucho's little leg, though. It's funny because Nick Haglund has an absolute cannon of a throw-in, and so I think that's another contributor to these wild goals. Evan said, "Oh God," a while back. He's Ohio corn-fed regarding the long throws, and so no. And how long has Nick Haglund been on this team? And we just now figured out this man can launch the freaking ball.
Can yeet a soccer ball with the best of them. And all of a sudden it's like, wait, why haven't we been doing this the entire time?
That has to be the first thing a set piece coach does, is like, line everybody up on the end line and be like, all right, who can hurl this thing the furthest? And it's like, all right, Nick, you're our guy.
They have to do that, right? Like, this can't possibly be the first year that we've thought that. They have like, hey, everybody line up. We're going to do it like it's doing the shot put. We're going to have somebody measure where it lands right there, and we can see where everybody goes.
It's the Brett Utley offense right there.
That's exactly right. Don't rethink it.
I mean, we obviously were not doing that before, so I'll appreciate that. I've got a bone to pick. Speaking of stats, I got a bone to pick with goals plus, the G plus that people see, and then I've got just nothing but the praises to sing of goals plus. I saw this. This came off of the Blue Sky account, MLS Analytics. They have the goals plus ratings of all of the players, and then sort of where that game is in their median or average game. And I don't know what's wrong with goals plus if Kevin Denke is scoring 5 points higher than Evander. Now, that is not to say Denke had a bad game. What I am questioning is, what metric are you measuring that would suggest that the player who had 5 goal contributions and assisted the one guy's 1 goal had a worse game, or at least added fewer goals than the guy who literally added more goals?
All soccer stats are voodoo.
That
you
is
can't
true.
trust any of them.
With the glaring exception, Chief, of one, which I learned about today.
Which makes it the best stat ever, obviously. It's the stat I learned today, and it validated my opinion, so therefore it is now gospel.
Literally had to ask 2 different people, what the hell is this? G plus boost. This is goals plus boost. And the way it was explained to me by none other than Matt Doyle, who said basically it is a measure of how good you are at hitting the type of passes that let your teammates make more valuable plays. Basically, measuring what happens when people who receive your passes and sort of what is the end result of receiving your passes.
What's the name of this stat again?
It is goals plus boost. G plus
boost.
G plus boost.
There was a real missed opportunity here not to call it a G unit. For the record.
G unit is so good. Oh my God. Goals plus should just literally be G units. But let me read you the top 5 in MLS in G plus boost. Number 1, Luis Suarez. Number 2, Rodrigo de Paul. Number 3, Christian Espinoza. Number 5, Son Heung-min. And number 4,
okay.
Dado Valenzuela, baby.
I was like, wait, this set is bullshit. It doesn't even rank people properly. It's like
number 6, Hani Mukhtar. Number 7, Christian Roldan. Number 8, Jesus Ferreira. Rarefied air. Young Dado finds
he's
himself
better than Christian Roldan.
Now
we got a full on World Cup. We got a full on World Cup roster controversy going now, babe.
Please. Now, here's the other thing. This is not in any way, shape, or form going to take this away from Dado, because again, I probably am not fully understanding the stat, but I'm
positive you aren't.
It does also sound like the kind of stat that measures how good a teammates are. Like Suarez and Rodrigo de Paul being 1 and 2 just means they pass the ball to Messi, and then Messi does something incredible. Christian Espinoza is passing to Suraj and Mukhtar. So they are then doing something incredible. Dado has Evander and Denke in front of him. Does seem to think that something good will happen, but
in baseball, it's runs. It's like, how many runs scored did you have? It's like, how many times did you get on base and somebody else did all the work for you?
Yeah.
Well done.
It's a measure of how good your teammates are.
That's exactly right. Well, it does further the cult of Dado, of which you are the leader, and it does, argue more for more Dado playing time, for which he owes his entire career this year to you. So yeah, I think this has to be your new official stat. I think you gotta shout this one from the rooftops right here.
The other thing that was pointed out to me, so I'll just make this comparison, is allegedly Darlington Nagbe was the goals plus boost like ultimate player. Like he was the god of the stat. So if we could call Dado the next American Darlington Nagbe, although both are American, don't worry about that. I'd take that. That feels like a good spot for Dado to fit into. So
there you go. Love that for us.
Look at us go.
How about
we have bounced all around. What goals have we not talked about?
Kevin Denke scored a goal. That was kind of keen. I mean,
yeah.
It was good. It was good just because if you're going to score 6 goals,
he needs to be on the score sheet.
Right, because I definitely wouldn't have lit him up for not getting on the score sheet right here. It's like, wait, your team scores 6 goals and your DP striker can't contribute 1. What is this? Imagine how good we'd be if we had a DP striker that actually scored in these blowouts.
God, that tweet is in your drafts, isn't it?
No, actually, I was happy he got the goal because he had a really good game doing a lot of things, like you said, off the ball. He contributes a lot to the other goals that were being scored. And it feels good when that gets rewarded. So I was happy that he was able to make that happen. I was dead convinced he was offside when that goal. Like I actually turned around in the stadium and was like, that was badass, but that ain't standing up. So we in the moment we were like, it's before break. It's kind of like the MLS equivalent of getaway day where the strike zone expands a lot. The officials are, you're close enough. We just need to get this game over with. We're on a 2-month hiatus after this. But no, it was good. Timed his run real well. It was just a clever little bit of work from Evander to get that goal contribution on that one. And again, it's just good to see the two of them have some chemistry together with one another, and good to see him pick him out and make him feel like he was part of the team last night too on the score sheet.
Yeah. Shawn, let me ask you this. In terms of vibes, end of this game is all Roman Celentano highlight reel saves. Do you feel good because hell yeah, Roman highlight reel, that's dope? Or do you feel like, hey, slightly better team and this game ends 4-4 and we don't feel quite as good about it today? Like how do you take in the final, say, 10, 15 minutes of that game?
Just seeing how things have gone previously throughout the season, I was nervous. Just, it doesn't matter how many goals were up, still in that moment, I was just in the back of my mind, still a little nervous, but it was great to see Roman actually get some great saves, have some great moments. We've given up quite a few goals this season. So just being able to see that, he's still out there. He can definitely put in a great shift. It's great. But like I said, I was a little nervous, but I will say in the press when we spoke to Roman, he was extremely fired up. Because when he came out, he was he was glazing Evander and just praising him. And, he said at the end of the game, I'm just glad we didn't give up 7 goals and we lose this. I just love how the goalkeeper room they're all very unhinged with some of their responses in these conversations. But no, Roman was great. And while I was nervous, just this team didn't want to give up, I guess. I guess, I don't know, I'm just going off straight vibes here, but the team just didn't want to seem like they wanted to give up, I guess, and Roman was clutch. Roman was very clutch, and it was just good to see him have said clutchness. Yeah,
I find it very hard to care about the quality of the defense that's played in a game when you're up 6-2. At a certain point, especially 10 minutes to go, the marching orders for everyone are nobody gets hurt. We don't need to be going 2-footed into every tackle. Don't pull a hamstring really stretching yourself. It's okay. We can give 1 or 2 up and we're still going to win this game comfortably. So, I'm not going to sit here and say to myself, oh man, we almost lost that game. If they would have given a goal up, they would have buckled down, and they had dominated this Orlando team the entire night. They still scored a stoppage time goal they probably could have scored another one in stoppage time if they'd really put their mind to it. So it was nice for Roman to get a little bit of work in. It was nice for him. I'm sure he loved diving and laying out for a couple of those shots. But, you know, it's good when there's a blowout like this that sometimes the goalkeeper feels left out. And I don't think Roman feels left out as a result. He reacted late on Ojeda's shot. I don't know that he would have saved it even if he would have gotten a better jump, but he was flat-footed for the majority of the time that ball was in the air. And I'm sure that he was mad at himself a little bit that he didn't do better on that. So I think it was good for him it's good for him to come out on a high note too, that he comes out feeling like I had some good saves. I had some good reactions. I don't really remember that I gave up two off of dead balls. Good for him. But like, I'm not going to worry that we put Brian Anunga in and he was a traffic cone out there for the last 10 minutes, just getting his work in.
Yeah. And, you know, defensively, you give up 2 goals, but one's a penalty. One's a hell of a free kick. Like, not a whole lot you can go pin on the defense. Goalkeeper did his job. And you'll certainly see people say, well, it's against Orlando, one of the worst defenses ever in MLS history, not a great team. That's true. But we have seen FC Cincinnati not put away bad teams. We've seen FC Cincinnati not finish out games against teams that we ought to be better than or had been outplaying. It was just a couple of matches ago, they're up 2-0 on Charlotte, not world beaters, and couldn't keep it. So, praise any and all good performances you get. Don't look the gift horse in the mouth on this
Orlando team came back from down 3-0 to beat Miami 4-3 in Miami's building. Yeah. So, I mean, they suck. Their defense isn't that good, but they can still put it to you if you lose focus when you're up big in a game like that. So good on the FC for doing that. And just a good quality, great way to send the fan base off for this, like I said, this mid-season off season. There was one thing I observed personally while being live at the match. I don't know if you saw this, Shawn, or if you'd been. I'm guessing Shawn probably didn't see this because you have to leave at a certain point to go downstairs to be ready for the presser. And that was, I did observe one Matt Miazga taking a lap around TQL Stadium, clapping to all portions of the fan base. I don't recall him doing this. Now, I don't always stay late enough to see that, but it did raise in my mind if maybe he knows this could be the last time he's playing at TQL Stadium.
Was he by himself?
He was with Nick Hagland.
Okay.
They were walking around together. I don't know. Just if it turns out that was Matt's last game in TQL Stadium, you know what? They did not concede a goal from open play.
And he gets an assist in this game.
Yeah. Almost scores a goal. Didn't score a goal, but almost scored a goal. And they did not concede from open play. It was one of the better defensive efforts they've had during this run. And if that's it for him, I think he went out on a high. It hasn't been a great first half of the season for Matt. If this was it, I've seen worse ways to walk out.
Yeah. Not a bad parting gift. Chief,
but who knows? Who knows?
I thought you were going to bring up the fact, this was brought up quite a bit in the Discord, so we got to bring it up here. Played after the game. Of course, Mr. Brightside was first one up. Second one up, Shut Up and Dance, which perfectly good song to include in this playlist.
It's a better reaction than Mr. Brightside. Going to point that out.
It does. But third, Foxy Shazam's Unstoppable, the postcast pick at the moment for the victory anthem.
Yeah.
I email your ticket reps. Let them know that you liked that. Maybe we bump that up.
Let them know that maybe we need to go Shut Up and Dance, Unstoppable, and we play Mr. Brightside third. Maybe it doesn't have to leave, but maybe it can Maybe it can take a backseat for a couple games here when we come back. Refresh.
Yeah.
Time for a refresh.
It's insulting to have the playlist have 2 songs from Cincinnati bands and neither one of them lead off. Mr. Brightside, come on.
No.
Come on.
No. Email your ticket reps. Let your voice be heard. No one likes Mr. Brightside. Everyone tolerates Mr. Brightside. And if we all speak up and do our part, we can do our part to make this little portion of the match day a little better.
Now, I know what people immediately do and say. No, actually, it should be shut up. Shut up and dance. The only way we are getting off of Mr. Brightside is we rally around something else. Right. And we're going to use what little bully pulpit we have here to tell you Foxy Shazam's Unstoppable is the pick.
Look, if I had my way, and if I would have leaned a little harder into this, we'd all be dancing to Ants Marching in the Bailey when we win. But you know what? It's not about me. I can't speak for the group. But what I can say is that we have very clearly, by the end of this game, we have 3 choices of post-match song. And no matter what your thoughts on the difference between Foxy Shazam and Walk the Moon, they're clearly both better choices than Mr. Brightside.
Yes.
So just Foxy Shazam. Let's just make it happen. Cincinnati band. Because here's the thing. If this team has a banner raising ceremony after winning MLS Cup, or they have a parade that ends on Fountain Square, the Killers aren't showing up to play that. Foxy Shazam might. Walk the Moon might.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Shawn, we've taken enough of your time. Final thoughts on the match, anything that happened post game that you've got to get off your chest, any final comment here?
Any final takes?
Oh gosh, final takes, man. I guess 2 things. One, I'm really glad we got the win. These next 2 months are really going to suck. And I have to pretend to, I guess, be a fan of the World Cup, I guess. So that's going to be hard, but,
let me tell you something. It took me just one day to remember how much fun engagement baiting the USMNT fan base is on X. Oh man, I forgot how much fun this is. So this is going to get me through at least, as I smack the microphone, this is going to get me through at least 2 or 3 weeks without FC Cincinnati trolling these people.
Oh my God. So I was not adminning for the Post when the last time there was a USMNT versus FC Cincinnati fan base dilemma. So I'm going to have a blast with this summer. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I can't wait. And that brings up another point, I guess, or another thought I had. I would hate to be the guy that leaked to the USMNT roster hours before the FC game, and we didn't see Miles Robinson in the lineup, so that was interesting. I guess, I don't know, final thoughts. I put it in the article, but God bless the Dayton Flyers. I guess.
Let's not go crazy. Let's not go crazy. All right.
Damn, I like it. Well, Shawn, thanks for everything you do. Hopefully there will be a check in the mail at some point for you. But no, we appreciate everything that you've been doing. Keep up the good work.
Don't run to check the mailbox. Just
believe me, I know.
And man, keep killing it. And folks should absolutely be checking out the website. You and Damon in particular have been doing a great job covering this team. I've appreciated the dare I say, sort of real journalism sort of effect vibes that we've seen around the website these days and on Twitter. So I absolutely love it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great job. Legitimately.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, now I have to explain to my wife what I was doing the last hour. So thank you guys.
That's a tough conversation.
you just tell her you married a podcaster. I'm sorry.
No, she might leave you. Well, it depends on how much you like her. But yeah, I'd avoid that conversation.
I'll take that advice.
It could be worse. I could be out back with a big green egg.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys.
Beaver, job well done.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Catch you later.
Today's episode of the Cincy Postcast is also brought to you by E&L Roofing. Look, I get it. Hearing the words new roof can cause your stress levels to elevate. But when you need a new roof, the folks at E&L Roofing can help make that process easier. Since 2009, they've been serving the greater Cincinnati area and helping to keep everyone safe, dry, and covered, no matter what life brings you. It's springtime storm season, and it's a great time to get your roof checked out. Me, I had the folks from E&L out at my place recently for some work. Honestly, could not have been happier with the result. Even caused my mother-in-law to say, picked out a nice color on that. And you know what? It's a win in my book. Plus, if you need siding and gutter work done, they've got you covered there too. And as a special value for our listeners, mention the Cincy Postcast when scheduling your inspection for up to 20% off a replacement roof, replacement siding, or replacement gutters. You can find them on the web and schedule your free inspection at elroofing.com or L Roofing if you're listening to this on Cinco de Mayo, elroofing.com. E&L Roofing, keeping you covered, even if the back three for FC Cincinnati doesn't always.
All right, we are back. Thank you to Shawn again for filling in for Damon, and for both Shawn and Damon stepping up and helping us out, covering the team. I think people need to be reading more of their stuff. I think they're doing a good job covering the team. It's another
it's our fault. It's our fault.
True. That's true.
It's our fault. No, like it's funny to get real for a second that we started this as kind of a joke.
Yes.
Mostly as a joke. And somewhere along the way, it got real. But like partially real. But like by the same token too, it's I don't do anything. I get on this Zoom chat with you and with Grayson, and I give you the most uninformed soccer takes imaginable. Like my job with all this job is easy. This is fun. But like Damon, Shawn, the guys that are actually, they're going to games. They're participating in the press corps that covers this team. They pass them the mic. They're allowed to ask questions to Pat Noonan in the press conferences. They're allowed to ask questions to the players. We've had guys out at Mercy Health training. I'd love to do that more often.
Yeah.
Just like everybody involved that's doing this, we're all doing this because we love this team. We love this fan base. Kevin and I have been in this fan base deeply for the better part of 10 years now for both of us. And it's a labor of love for all of us. But for them, they're producing, like Damon and Shawn are producing actual journalistic content. Let's call it what it is. Like it's actual journalism. And we've got our photo guy that does photos for us. We've got, we got social media. And look, Kevin and I don't make any money off this. Neither one of us takes a dime. Grayson doesn't take a dime. We are trying to get more money and more stuff for our people that are actually producing content. So legitimately, if there's a reason to sign up for the Patreon, it's to support those guys. We want to make sure that we're doing more of that. We had Damon on a road game this year. We'd love to send. I would love personally if this got to a point where we could commit to having someone on the road with this team for all the matches. That's a far off goal. I understand that's not going to happen overnight, but with the Inquirer pulling back coverages, the TV is sporadic. You've got Laurel doing yeoman's work, just great work, carrying the torch. I would love it if the legacy of the Post could be that we have one other person or one other outlet that's covering this team. And so thank you to Shawn, to Damon. Support them, share the stuff on social media. If you have friends that are into FC Cincinnati and you feel stupid recommending them the podcast because we're idiots, send them the links to the written content. Hey, here's another place you can follow. Share the video clips. It would really be appreciated. And I think it's pretty cool, even if we did start this as an outlet to make fun of Yop Stam and Gerard Nykamp.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The origin story is so funny about the post.
So dumb.
You know where we could tell that story, Chief?
Where, Kevin?
Well, on Friday for our happy hour.
Hey.
Let's do it. It's been too long since we've had one of these. We owe the world at least a couple of them. The happy hours we do are for the highest tier Patreon member. We'll hang out for about an hour. Sometime after work. We'll nail down the exact time. Probably starting around 4, maybe 5 o'clock, somewhere in there. Typical happy hour times. And we'll just shoot the shit. I'm sure we'll talk a little about the FC, but it's also where we talk about other things, but we'll take listener live questions and stuff like that. So it'll be a good time. And yeah, maybe we talk about the origin of the post, why it was started. And started January 2020. What a great time to start anything.
Yeah, we just have a great sense of timing on that, man. That's phenomenal. Go us.
Man. That was so
Many
good.
people, they say it was a lab leak that started the coronavirus. I don't know that it wasn't us that we decided, hey, let's do something fun with our soccer team. It's like, no, you're not.
It might have been us.
Might have been us. Who is to say, Kevin? Who is to say? But go support our writers, join the Patreon, and then hang out with us on Friday for the happy hour. So
yeah. That'll be a good time. Maybe I'll put a poll in the happy hour Discord channel, which there is one, by the way. If people would prefer it to be done on Riverside, which is where we do our recording and we're able to add live folks into the live video chat, or we could broadcast it to YouTube again, which is what we did last time. So I'm curious what people would prefer. YouTube's easier to watch, easier to find the well, I'll post the video to YouTube for folks that are at that tier can watch it back afterwards. So if you can't make it live, that's fine. You get a free bonus hour of us chit-chatting. Which for some reason some people want. So there you go.
Can't imagine why.
Chief, we do need to talk about though who was not in this game. And this comes on the back of the aforementioned World Cup squad leak that happened over the weekend. It happens, Friday, Saturday? Friday.
It was Friday. Yeah.
Friday, I think we were starting to get
word out. So Saturday, I think Saturday morning was when the full thing came out.
Yeah.
I started to see stuff coming Friday night. It was in the spots. If you were looking for it, it was out there. And then there was the exclusive article that was broken by, I believe, Pablo Maurer of The Guardian writing on that. And the World Cup squad leaks, all 26 names. Theoretically, they seem very confident about it, but you never know until the actual 3-hour Fox reveal show happens on Tuesday, which I have thoughts on every bit of that. But named to the World Cup squad, Miles Robinson, defender, FC Cincinnati. So there had been some chatter out there in the soccer intelligentsia that Miles had played his way off of the World Cup squad due to team form. I know Tom Bogert had an article from The Athletic where he and two other journalists had picked their World Cup squads, and 2 out of the 3 that wrote in that didn't have Miles on the team, mostly again due to form. I think that Matt Doyle had him as missing the team as well in his World Cup preview. But Miles Robinson makes the team, is held out as a precaution ahead of the World Cup, which I don't know. We talked about this, Kevin. Your take on this?
Yeah.
Shouldn't they have held Pavel out too? If that's the whole thing, to we're protecting players that are ahead of the World Cup from injury. Pavel went damn near all 90 minutes of this game. And if you're holding Miles out, shouldn't you have held Pavel out too? And
not for nothing, Ender Echenique
and Brian Ramirez was sort of, I think he got I think he found out today that Brian Ramirez wasn't going to be involved, but like he was sort of on the fringe as well, but Ender as well on the fringe.
Yeah, Ender's on the short list. So if folks don't know, they don't officially need to name their team until June 1st. Lots of teams have already made their announcements. Some teams, like Czech Republic, has done this, where they have announced a short list, or they'll release a 30-man roster or a 29-man roster, 31-man roster, but they need to get down to 26 by June 1st. And even with these announcements, like for example, the United States will likely name Chris Richards to the World Cup squad. He didn't play the last game for Crystal Palace. He has an injury. They don't think it's that serious. But let's say they have some more tests, some more x-rays come back, and they decide, actually, this is really bad. They're not committed to him. Even if he's a part of the big 3-hour announcement on Tuesday, they can drop him before June 1st.
Right.
Like that is acceptable. It'd be a bummer, don't get me wrong, but they're allowed to do that. So even if the leak is right, there is that Chris Richards injury hanging out there. So Miles could get it. But to the question that you're asking, holding them out, I think it comes down to two things. I think one, Miles is actually coming back from injury. So I do think there's a genuine reason to hold him out. It is not merely the, cover him in bubble wrap and hope he makes it to the World Cup roster. The other part of it is, with Buka not being a surefire lock for his team, I wonder if some of the conversation was, hey, you're in competition with these two guys, or whatever it is, this other guy. We want to see what you look like up to the final moment. Like they may have told him, like, literally your club form may determine in the next 2 weeks as to who we take, at which point the conversation back to Noonan is, hey, we want to see your guy. So I buy that.
We wouldn't know that either way. They wouldn't. That would not.
So I think that may have played a part of it. So I think some of the guys who are on the bubble would have probably preferred to play, which is what we've seen. And the guy who did allegedly hear on Friday that he has made it, I think is probably not as concerned with getting out on the field to play. Also keep in mind with Miles' history here, Miles was likely going to go to the 2022 World Cup. In fact, I believe he made the roster and got an injury late.
Well, remember with the 2022 World Cup, he was injured, I believe, in May, but because the 2022 World Cup was in Qatar, they didn't play it until December. But he full off tore his ACL. Like he was toast. Like there was no way he was going to make it. And
that's right.
There was no way they were going to go forward with him on, hey, maybe he'll recover in time. So he fully missed the World Cup that go around.
That's right.
Just because he was on the shelf for so long. But this point stands that like he was on the precipice of making and playing in that World Cup, and that got taken away from him. So you can see where there might be a little more of we would very much like to see that not happen again for Miles, just for his sake. And this being a lifelong dream for most of these players. Like most of these players, their dream is to play for their national team. Their dream is to play in the World Cup and make meaningful contributions at the World Cup. So congratulations to Miles. Look, I don't make it a secret that I don't think Miles has been very good this year. And I certainly think that his contract status is tremendously poor for the FC, but I like Miles. Yeah. I like the fact that he chose to come play at FC Cincinnati, that he had choices and he came here. I like that he's playing for my team. I think he was very good last year. I think he's been very good since he's been here, and it's going to be cool to have an FC Cincinnati player playing at the World Cup. There are a lot of MLS teams that won't have a representative playing at the World Cup. There certainly are a lot that won't have a representative for the U.S. national team. Yeah. So no matter what you think of Miles's DP contract or, what he's done this year, I do hope that everyone rallies around the idea that it is kind of cool that we're going to be having someone at the World Cup that represents our team. And I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said it exactly right. Like, regardless of where you rate Miles and how you like the roster build and all that jazz, like, this is really cool. This is a rare opportunity for this to happen. Like, the closest we got before was what, 2018. We had Kendall Waston, then joined the year after, who played in the World Cup.
Because he would have been with 2019 in the MLS debut year.
Yeah. So it's not often that we get this opportunity to send an FC Cincinnati player to the World Cup. I think that's a lot of fun.
And especially for the U.S. national team, where he's going to be representing, our country. Here's the other reason why you should be excited about Miles Robinson being on the World Cup.
Okay.
Is that him playing in the World Cup and playing well will piss off all of the right people in the U.S. men's national team Discord. These
Your
people,
favorite people.
these people that are, they're on social media. They have USMNT in their bio. They are all exclusively fans of super clubs over in major European leagues that never, ever get relegated yet. They believe pro rel is important to everything. They will never support MLS. The idea of MLS players on their sacred U.S. men's national team drives them up a wall. And the best way that you can stick it to these people is for Miles Robinson and Christian Roldan and Max Arfston and all these MLS players to play well in this World Cup, because it shatters their worldview and makes them very unhappy. And I love that. So my goal in all this is I want Miles to not only make the team, which he has done, I want him to play, and I want him to have like at least 2 tackles where he decleats someone in big moments to preserve a 1-goal U.S. lead or something like that, where I can get online and say that's MLS toughness right there that you Euro boys wouldn't understand.
It's also like, for 2 things about that. One, it's very funny that like the assumption is that Greg Berhalter is an MLS, plant, and that's why he was taking all these MLS players. And then you bring in Mauricio Pochettino, who's also like, actually, Miles Robinson, Christian Roldan, Max Arfston, like, these are the best American players in the world. These are the guys that we need to have in our team. I think that is fantastic. That's very funny to me. And the other thing is, again, just from like a justifying the contract thing, it's really good that Miles Robinson made the team. Because I was like, what kind of conversations are those when like Carl calls Chris up to the office, like, so 3.5 million and he's not even going to be on the World Cup? What are we doing here, buddy? Yeah, like, okay, well, if you've already accepted a designated player center back, and you've already accepted a designated player American center back, then you start going like, well, why didn't we just pay $12 million for Anthony Robinson or Chris Richards or any of these other, Joe Scally? Like, why did we do it with the guy who doesn't make the team? Why wouldn't we do it with all the other guys?
Yeah, so, it feels like we could have done better with that money, but no, they're spared those conversations. It's good for everyone involved. Everyone's happy about that. And that's awesome for Miles. He got robbed of this 4 years ago, and I'm happy that he has made the World Cup, and I'm happy that the decision to go to FC Cincinnati did not derail those World Cup hopes and allowed him to make the World Cup again. That's a good thing for this team, that somebody came here and they maintained their position to make a World Cup squad. So job well done. Congratulations to Miles. We'll be pulling for you. And if you ball out and somebody makes a big ass offer for you over the summer, hey, wouldn't want to hold you back from those dreams either.
The big European offer is coming. It's
pulling a DeAndre Yedlin. Like, hey, how about that? You look great in 2 matches. Why don't you go play for Tottenham?
And by play for Tottenham, I mean literally do one throw in and then get sold to Sunderland.
To Sunderland, or was it Newcastle or Sunderland? I forget which one.
It was Newcastle.
Newcastle. Yeah.
Damn. Man, Lyndon Gooch plays for Sunderland.
Yeah. Why not?
Fun. Where is Lyndon Gooch these days? Hold, please. I need to look up Lyndon Gooch. Lyndon Gooch, American soccer player who currently plays for Huddersfield. Damn.
What division is Huddersfield in these days?
Huddersfield, I'm glad you asked, currently plays in the EFL League One.
Oh, hey, there you go. So he probably lost to Wrexham at some point last year.
Yeah, probably. Well, he joined in 2025. So Lyndon Gooch played from 2012 to 2023 for Sunderland, and then played for Stoke for 2 years. I missed that part of his career. And then Huddersfield. Wow. Lyndon Gooch.
What a name. What a pull right there. I hadn't thought of Lyndon Gooch name. Really in a long time. I can't remember the last time Lyndon Gooch came top to mind there.
Once upon a time, I had a FIFA save where I took Plymouth Argyle to win the Champions League. That was my big thing with them. And Lyndon Gooch was a star player for Plymouth Argyle in that run.
Yeah. Hell yeah. But can you do it on a rainy night in Plymouth?
Oh, God. Chief, I honestly, I think this will be fun to look towards the World Cup. I'm sure we'll get FC Cincinnati news trickling in. We'll get the FC Cincinnati transfer rumor machine up and running while we're going through all of this.
Hey, remember Neymar?
He's still out there. He's still accidentally getting subbed into the game, I think it was. Or out of the game?
Yeah, out of the game, yeah. We promise that'll never happen in MLS. Our officials are incompetent, but they at least read cards correctly, I think.
Yeah, that definitely wouldn't happen earlier tonight.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So this is going to be long. The FC is going to be off officially until mid-June, at which time there will be
mid-July. Mid-June. No, sorry. Continue.
Players are off completely until mid-June.
Man.
And then there will be there'll be a mini preseason that will happen, and then the players coming back from the World Cup will join as their teams are eliminated. So, I mean, it's a good thing we're not like fans of Georgia football, because you leave players from there unattended for 3 or 4 weeks and you're liable to have a couple deaths and multiple arrests.
Definitely I think this group of guys, speeding tickets.
Yeah, I think this group of guys is going to do okay. I would love if they gave a couple guys marching orders of like what I did on my summer vacation and just had them do some film content. Like, come on, Nick Haglin's going to be getting up to some real Midwestern dad shenanigans type stuff.
Things I've smoked.
Yeah. Evan, he's getting up to some stuff. He's just going to be living his best life. We need some check-ins every so often for how people are doing. Like, what's going on? Is Vander going back to Brazil? I don't know. I'd love to find out. Like, I'd love to get some info on that.
I would love to know how far down the Brazilian depth chart Vander is. Like, he wasn't going to make the World Cup squad. Not sure. Whatever. Is he in the 35-man squad? Is he in the 45-man squad? Does it take 100 players to get to Vander? I'm very curious where he is viewed in that program.
Grayson made a point earlier on Twitter. Kevin Denke starts for the United States, right?
So I actually posed this question in the SoccerWise Discord, and this is
I think a Vander starts for the US. I think that's like not even close.
I think so. So the question I asked is, which current non-American MLS player who has 0 senior caps for their country would start for the U.S. men's national team?
Well, Denke has caps.
What?
Denke has caps for his senior team, so that would eliminate him right there.
So Denke couldn't go, but Hugo Kuipers, Sam Surridge, both don't have caps for Belgium and England. You would have potentially Mukhtar could start. Doesn't have any.
So Kuipers definitely. Like, there's not a striker in the U.S. pool that's better than Hugo Kuipers.
No, I don't think there is.
What was the SoccerWise Discord's What was the ruling? Was there anyone?
The only other person that they brought up was that Carlos Heel might be a force magnifier, that he himself wouldn't be necessarily a slam dunk, and certainly you would have preferred him from a couple of years ago.
Right.
The other one that everybody said was, who's the best non-American center back with no international caps? I'll be honest, it's not great. Mateus Laborda for Vancouver is about as good as you probably get there. I don't know that he necessarily walks into the U.S. men's national team starting lineup. So,
yeah.
But certainly attacking midfielders and strikers we could upgrade on pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Evander starts for the U.S. and I think Denke would start for the U.S. too. Those are two positions the team is just not good at. They just don't have. We don't do that well in this country. I think the last guy we had that was any good was Josie Altidore, I think, as a striker. And even he was like grossly disappointing for most of his national team career.
Yeah, dude. Josie had the nasty habit of getting hurt at every tournament that we really needed him in.
Yeah.
Like he'd crush it in qualifying, crush it in, whatever smaller tournament you needed. But yeah, you get to like the World Cup. Oh, he pulls his hamstring first game.
Yeah, he's not available. Self-unselect.
I will tell you this, though. I'll give you a preview of the bit I'm going to do all World Cup for the U.S. I'm going to say, could really use a player like Dado in the midfield. I'm just going to say that all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to maybe we're going to start the Evander. Interested in becoming a U.S. citizen by any chance?
I mean, he's got 4. I mean, we did the same thing with Lucho, and like, it made sense to try to push that. Lucho shot himself in the foot with this little stint to Mexico,
to Dallas and Mexico.
But
when he legitimately went to Mexico and lost the ability to actually claim residency. Yeah.
Yes. Let alone all the chaos that happened, after the fact. He literally reset his clock, so to speak, on that. Because I think you need 4 years continuous living in that country or something like that. But Evander,
he's getting close.
He's got a year in Portland. Does he have 2 years in Portland?
He had 2 years. I think he had 2 years in Portland.
And 2 years in Cincy. So it's either this year or next year. He should be eligible for the switch if he gets citizenship.
Yeah. Which, they sell those gold cards still, right?
Didn't we apply for Evander, or did we apply for Lucho?
I thought we were going to try and apply for Evander. Yeah. Evander joined the Portland Timbers in 2023, played all year 2023, 2024. So yeah, next year it'll be Evander time.
Oh, call him up, BJ Callahan.
I had this
the next
like with Lucho. I'm not going to lie. I had this all planned out that I thought it would, they do those things where they swear people, they do citizenship swearing ins on the field, like have him like swear in as a U.S. citizen on the field and then immediately like go from that directly into the starting lineup for the national anthem. I would get chills thinking about this. And then he blew it up. He didn't have to do that. It's all him.
He has the Capitol building tattooed on the back of his neck. Like, he's the perfect guy to do this.
We would have built the statue in this city, man. All you had to do was just keep it in your pants, or not keep it in your pants and just be a man about it. Own your decisions a little bit.
Right.
Like, get another tattoo and a sports car. Do the normal stuff as soon as the marriage doesn't work out.
Just why?
Yeah.
Why?
But hey, you know what? I'm happy it led us to Evander because I'm very much enjoying the Evander experience now. I think that.
Yeah.
And I need you to remind me of this, like when he disappears for like 4 games later in the season. I'm like, hey, remember that time you were like really enjoying the Evander experience? This is part of the experience, and this too shall pass.
I mean, here's the thing. The Evander highs are very high, but the lows are not as low as what we discovered was the Lucho lows.
That is true. And also, honestly, Evander seems like, again, this is a knock on wood situation, especially since everybody's going to have a break for a little bit.
Yeah, it's true.
He doesn't seem like the type that's going to find himself into an argument with an amateur boxer. But by the same token, it's like, he does seem happy here, right? Like, that's not like, for all the warnings we got that he's a little bit of a malcontent in Portland, I don't see any of that. Like, he seems like he's just very thrilled to be here.
I mean, and then again, like watching Portland from the outside, like it looks not fun.
Might be a them problem here. Like, I'm getting a very real sense that it could be a Portland problem more than an Evander problem.
Like all the Portland fans are like, oh, he didn't like us. He didn't want to be here. It's like, yeah, I don't think any of your players like it. Like, he was just the only one who had like the talent to play himself out.
Wasn't there another dude that was just like, no, I'm not playing here anymore. You got to sell me. What was that guy?
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times with Portland now.
And the one guy was like, I'm just not going to show up. You better sell me. It's like, well, we're not going to sell you. Well, we've reached an impasse here because I ain't playing.
Yeah, what? He like traveled to Mexico. He's like,
you
have sold me. Like, you just need to figure out the paperwork. I now play for, it was like Necaxa or something like that. It's like, I play for a different team.
Yeah, I'm not even here anymore, man. Yeah, it's probably a Portland problem. Kevin, are you going to miss the FC? Because I'm going to miss the FC, especially after last night. If they would have lost, I might have had a different answer to this question. But like after that last night, I'm kind of mad we don't have a game this week. Like, keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah, I posted that my mood all summer will be determined by the outcome of the Orlando game before the game. And
they delivered.
Yeah, it's going to be a great summer.
Six goals.
Like,
man, there's no better way to have a fond memory of, college or whatever than having a great last weekend.
Yeah. God, if we had like lost, and then especially like the Miami loss, the San Diego draw, and then lose to Orlando, man, it'd have been tough vibes. You'd have had all summer people begging for Pat Noonan to get fired, and instead he's the fastest manager to 75 wins, tied with Brian Schmetzer. And
you know who was below him on that list? I couldn't help but notice.
Was that
Wilfred Nancy?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, didn't do that as fast as Pat Noonan, huh? Noticing. No, I do agree. I do agree with you that like that as a result of this, now there's a little more optimism. Now it's okay. Let's talk rumors. Who's coming in? We got a big summer window ahead of us. The window will be open before this team resumes play.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of it. We're going to have to fill some time, though. So we will be doing episodes. We're going to figure out what the schedule is since there's not going to be as much FC Cincinnati news. So we'll figure that out. And then the World's Gam, I think, is going to turn into the World's Cup Gam, where we're going to do some World Cup, MLS players in World Cup. We're going to figure that out, too. But we're going to be doing some stuff. So we'll still be active here at the old Post Cincy. So hopefully we can keep this summer of no FC at least, I don't know, livable. Who knows? We'll figure some stuff out. We'll do some nonsense, I think.
Yeah, we'll have fun with it. Also, open to ideas. The Discord, we've got ideas and feedback channel. Throw it in there. Let us know, one, how we're doing. Now is a good time as any for us to sort of reassess what we're doing, how we're doing it. So if you've got ideas, suggestions, feedback, positive or negative, like you're allowed to say like, I love what you guys are doing. Keep doing it. Yeah.
This shit's unlistenable. I don't know why I'm here. That's fine. It's going to hurt my feelings, but I need to hear it.
Yeah.
It's like
tell us that too.
The only thing worse than smelling bad is no one telling you that, so you don't go home and take a shower or something like that.
God, that is so true.
Yeah.
So with that said, Chief, are we done? Are we done with this episode?
We're done. Plenty to talk about as we go along. Fuck Columbus.